It started when HOA Kathy, in a reckless and brazen escalation of her repeated harassment, had police come to my construction site. She accused me of violating HOA regulations, seeking to halt the existing work and claim jurisdiction over property I exclusively owned. What she didn't know was that her brazenness had no legal or pragmatic foundation. Her attempt at manipulating law enforcement would instantly backfire, revealing her reckless entitlement and leaving her publicly embarrassed. From the moment the call was placed, all the information was meticulously documented. Security cameras caught her arrival, her provoking movements, and her repeated claim of having jurisdiction over my property. Audio recordings captured her threats, misrepresentations, and repeated assertions of entitlement. All prior examples of harassment, trespass, and audacious interference were compiled into a thorough dossier. Kathy had believed fear or compliance would trail behind her conduct, but she was going to discover that audaciousness faces preparation, authority, and rigid evidence. When the officers arrived expecting routine altercation, they were met with a peaceful operating building site. Members of the crew were laboring on their assignments according to permit and property regulations, and the site was in full compliance with city regulations. The officer in charge, upon verifying permits and records, immediately realized that Kathy's claims were baseless. He simply laughed at her audacity, assuaged to all but the most skeptical onlookers that her attempt to manipulate police had been a spectacular failure. Kathy, thinking that she could intimidate or coerce acquiescence, tried to escalate by reached out to neighbors, HOA members, and even attempted to file a formal complaint. All efforts, however, were systematically cut down with proof, permits, ownership papers of the property, and documents of her repeated harassment. Her blatant interference, aimed at asserting control, now became unshakable proof of recklessness, arrogance, and incompetence. All attempts at manipulating the situation only further exposed her blatantness as folly and unlawful in an attempt to discourage any future interference. Permanent action was taken. Security cameras, enforced fencing, automated warning systems, and legal notices ensured that Kathy could no longer attempt to manipulate, intimidate, or trespass. Her ability to assert false authority was irrevocably neutralized, and all blatant actions she had attempted became written proof of reckless behavior. Neighbors in the community became aware of the incident. Kathy's credibility, already tenuous for years of reckless overstepping, was irreparably harmed. Her ongoing attempts to interfere, manipulate, and exert authority over property she did not own were made public. Viewers immediately grasped the lesson. Audacity without preparation, legal authority, or strategic foresight will fail. Kathy had assumed fear, confusion, or obedience would result from what she did. Instead, she discovered reckless interference is immediately inescapable and humiliating in its result. Following the episode, calm went back to the construction site and the property. Kathy's audacity had been firmly killed, making her vulnerable, powerless, and publicly humiliated. The site remained fully functional, safe, and under legal control. The episode served as an example for the community. Reckless entitlement, unauthorized interference, or brazen manipulation without preparation, legal strategy always rebounds. Peaceful, secure, and in full legal control, the ranch and building site by week's end, Kathy's audacity defeated, her exposed as helpless, powerless, and forever humiliated. Each witness learned the lesson. Everything attempted to maneuver, intimidate, or use authority without preparation, knowledge of the law, or strategy always rebounds. Exposed, helpless, and permanently humiliated, Kathy had been leaving the property safe, fully protected, and fully under rightful